Hey students, recent events in our country shows that racism is still around. And while we live in a broken world, and unfortunately that's something that may never go fully away in our lifetime, I do want to say that it has no place in the church. Racism is a result of living in a broken and sinful world. But for us, as believers in Christ, we've been called to love our neighbor as ourself, and to see everyone as created in the image of God, the Imago Dei. Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 and 27, it says this. It says, "Let us make man in our image, after our own likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. But what does that mean, to be created in the image of God? Well, when a sculptor takes ice or takes clay and begins to sculpt something, he creates it to convey a message. Or when an author sits down to create a book, it is created to share a story. We were created to share the story and the message of God's glory and salvation through Christ. To bring God glory and to do what God has called us to do. And he allows us to share in his qualities. So what it means to be created in the image of God is that we have some of the characteristics that God has shared with us. We have love. We're able to show grace, mercy, kindness, justice, have empathy towards another person. These qualities that come from God are characterized, and we show them in our likeness and created in the image of God. The opposite of those qualities that we also see is a result of sin: hate, injustice, ruthlessness, evil, and selfishness. James chapter 3, verse 9 says, "We bless God and then turn around and curse people who are created in his likeness." And it says, "My brothers, this should not be." In Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29, says, "Don't let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouth, but only what is beneficial or only what is good for building others up." And so, how do we live in this image of God? How do we reflect that by our actions? Number one, we have to understand that everyone is created in the image of God. No matter of their social background, no matter of their ethnic background, no matter of the way they looked or how they act, they are created in the image of God. Second, we need to reflect God's image through our love, through grace, through justice, through kindness, and through empathy to everyone, regardless of their background. And finally, number three, we point people to Jesus through our words and actions, because only a difference can be made through the transforming life that Christ brings. And so my question for you is, when you see other people, whether that's the person walking by you at the hallways in school or it's your neighbor across the street, do you see them as created in the image of God, as loved by God, and as someone who Jesus died on the cross for their sins as well? And as we begin to think that for other people, we begin to understand how to treat other people, how to love our neighbor as ourselves, and how to reflect God's image to his creation. God has established his church and his kingdom, and in establishing that, he says that he will call people from every tribe, tongue, and nation. And I look forward to that beautiful day when we're all surrounded around God's throne, and we are all there worshiping in every tribe, every tongue, every nation, every people group, worshiping the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. But until then, let us all reflect this image of God by the way we treat other people. Live out the Imago Dei.